Hello, students. So, today we are going to start a new chapter from physical chemistry section. So, I think we already completed few chapters from physical chemistry. So, the next one is unit number 2, solutions. See, solid state is an unit number 1. The discussion on that chapter I already done. The unit number 2 is a solution. The solution, as per your examination concept, there is a 7 marks will be asked from this chapter. So 7 marks have been distributed as 2 plus 3 plus 2 or 2 plus 4 plus 1 like that. Okay. So here 2 marks and 5 marks question. So 2 marks, there are 1 marks, 2 questions are there. Is 1 into 1, and 5 marks is asked as 2 into 3. Okay, sorry, 2 plus 3. So 2 marks question and 3 marks question. And here the important is 3 marks question is in a compulsory one numerical problem. Okay, like that in solid state, 3 marks is for packing efficiency. So here 3 marks for one problem is there, numerical problems, and 2 marks is asked on other concept in solutions, and 1 marks 2 questions are there. Okay, so you have to practice for 1 marks. You cannot skip this chapter because there is a 1 marks 2 questions are there. Okay, if you want to score for 100 of 100 means, so you have to attempt all the questions from 1 marks. Okay, so here there are 2 questions from 1 marks, so therefore, so you have to give more stress on 1 marks as well as on numericals in this chapter. Now, stress, this is our exam part. Now, let me go with this solution chapter. See, in first year, we learned the different states of matter, that is the solids, liquids, and gases. And in detail about the gases, we already studied in states of matter. And solids, in first unit, we studied in detail. And next, another one state of that matter is liquid. Okay, in liquid state, we learned few properties of that liquids like viscosity, surface tension, and vapor pressure in first year. Now, in second year, we learn few more properties of those liquids in the chapter called solution. Okay. Now, students, here the meaning of that word. So, let me start with this word. You know already the solution. Okay, you know already the different types of solutions. Okay, but let me go with that word meaning solution. Solution is the one which forms a homogeneous mixture. Sorry, it is a homogeneous mixture of two or more component. It is a homogeneous mixture of two or more components. That is called a solution. Okay. Now, the homogeneous mixture. We learned the two types of mixture, heterogeneous mixture and homogeneous mixture. Let me go with a few example. You can to understand this homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture is the one, for example, sugar in water. Sugar plus water, we call that as a homogeneous mixture. Okay. And salt in water, we call it as a heterogeneous mixture. It is a homogeneous, and this one is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, the two types of mixtures, homogeneous and heterogeneous. Sugar in water we call it homogeneous because sugar completely it is miscible in water. You cannot find the sugar particles in water when they are mixed to, when we mix the sugar in water, okay, which forms a homogeneous solid. Okay. And when we mix a salt in water, okay, so salt in water when you mix, so some of the particles, it seems like some of the particles are mixed with the water. Okay, if we keep as it is that solution for few minutes means the salt particles get settled down. Okay, so there is a separation of salt and water. Okay, so that solution we call it heterogeneous. Now here the solutions we define that as it is a homogeneous mixture of two or more components. Okay, so that's why we concentrate on the homogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous mixtures of two or more components. As here, the components I am saying is a mixture of two or more components. If two components mix together and forms a solution means that we call it as a binary solution. If three components are mixed, that is we call it as a ternary. If four components, it is in a quaternary. Like that, we define the type of solution. That is the two components forms binary solutions. Let me study in detail about the binary solutions in this chapter. Sorry, in this unit, we discuss about the binary solutions. So, binary solutions, it is a mixture of two components. So, two components means one component we call as a solute and the other component we call as a solvent. That gives a solution. Is a mixture of these two. Now, what do you mean by this solute and the solvent? Okay, so one is the component we call it a solute, another one is in a solvent. So two components mixed and forms a solution is in a binary solutions, which is in a forms a homogeneous mixture of the binary solution. Okay, now what is the solute and what is the solvent? Okay, see in this solution the one which is present in lesser quantities, okay, which is present in lesser quantities, that we call it as a solute. Okay, in two components, the component one which is present in lesser quantities, that is in a solute, and the one component which is present in larger, okay, that we call it as a solvent. Okay, in general we define like that. In some solutions the it may be they are in equal portion, solute and solvent they are in equal portion, but in general the one which is present in lesser quantities, that we call it as a solute, and the one which is present in larger quantities we call it as a solvent. Okay, specifically we say that solute is the one which loses its identity in the solution. Okay. Solute is the one which is present in lesser quantity and also it loses its identity in the solution, that we call it a solute. Okay. Solvent is the one which is present in larger quantities and it retains its identity. It retains its identity in the solution, that we call it a solvent. For example, sugar plus water is a simple example we take. Gives sugar solution. Simply we got the solution, sugar solution. Sugar is present in lesser quantities and also it loses its identity in the solution. That means we can't find the crystals of the sugar in the solution. Okay. So it loses its identity. And second one, the water is a solvent because it is present in larger quantities and it retains its identity in the solution. Okay. That means we observe the water, okay, in sugar solution, but we cannot observe the sugar in sugar solutions. Okay. So like that we define solute and the solvent. Okay. So once again let me repeat, the solute is the one which is present in lesser quantities and it loses its identity. Okay. And solvent is the one which is present in larger quantities and it retains its identity in the solution. So that is a solvent. Now students, let me go with the few types of solutions. I think you are familiar about these words. There is a dilute solution, concentrated solution, right? And another one is saturated solution, and next another one comes super saturated solution. Super saturated solution. These are the different types of solutions. Okay, so dilute solution, concentrated solution, saturated solution, and super saturated solution. Okay. So for that, let me take one beaker. Okay. So here I'm taking the beaker for to prepare all these types of solutions. Okay. See, all these beakers are kept at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, normal room temperature, okay, and contains, say, in all these beakers, I kept 50 ml of water. Okay. I kept here 50 ml of water in first beaker. Second beaker is also the volume of water is same. Third and fourth, all the beakers, the solvent is same. This is the water is 50 ml. Okay. Now I am adding solute. Okay. So solute here is sugar. I am adding sugar or salt. Okay. Sugar or you just use a common salt. Okay. So here in first solutions I am adding just 1 gram of the sugar or salt. Huh? And in second I am adding here the around 20 gram of the sugar. Okay, just saying around 20 gram of the sugar. Okay, and in third solutions I am adding the sugar in such a quantity that until uh, some crystals of sugar get settled down. Okay. So up to that I am adding the sugar. So just I add few grams of sugar and I will stir. Okay, so that sugar particles dissolves in that, and still I will add another few grams of that sugar to that water. Still it dissolves. So until I observe some crystals of sugar get settled down. Okay, so up to that, uh, I will add. So say around 30 grams of sugar. 30 grams of sugar is required. So after that, if I add just the 0.1 gram of sugar, that gets settled down. Okay. So 30.1 gram of sugar is added in this beaker. Okay, and here is also I added 30 plus 0.1 gram of sugar. Okay. Now students, here the solute the quantity of this solute is very less compared to the solvent, so we call this as a dilute solution. Okay, so here the quantity of this solute is very less compared to the solvent. Solvent is 50 ml or say it is in a 50 grams. So 50 grams of water, so is in a very less 1 gram in 50 grams of water, so it is in a very less, so it is in a very dilute solutions. So here the quantity of that sugar is comparatively large. Okay, it is 20 gram of that solute in 50 gram of that solvent. So it is in a concentrated solution with the quantity of that solute is more. So therefore it is in a concentrated solution, and here saturated solutions in which the maximum amount of that solute is dissolved in a desired amount of the solvent, in a given amount of that solvent. Okay, so maximum amount means so how much it is possible to dissolve that solute in that given volume of that solvent. So that we call it in a saturated solution. Okay, so saturated solution, so maximum quantity of that solute, okay, is dissolved in that given volume of solvent, okay, at a constant temperature. So that solutions we call it in a saturated solution. It is in a saturated solution. Now supersaturated solution. Supersaturated solution means more quantity of that sugar or more quantity of that solute is dissolved in the same amount of that solvent. So here is also 50 gram of water, here is also 50 gram of water, but here the maximum solute dissolved in this water is 30 grams. If you add 0.1 gram is it gets settled, it will not dissolve in that solvent. Okay, maximum solute particles or maximum of that salt or sugar I will dissolve in this solvent is 30. Okay, so not more than that 30, so it is in a saturated. Okay, so here so this is saturated at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. So here if I add 30 grams, is 30.1 means the sugar particles are settled down. So here more than that, okay, more than that 0.1 grams, 30. So here I dissolve 32 grams. Okay, 32 grams of that solute is dissolved in 50 gram of that solvent by increasing the temperature. Okay, by heating. By heating, by heating, we dissolve more quantity of that solute in a solvent. So that solutions we call it in a super saturated solution. Okay. So it is heated to a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then another 2 gram of that solute is dissolved in that solvent. So that means, so that solution is in a super saturated solution. Okay. Again, if you cool that super saturated solutions, so 2 gram of that uh, sugar or solute gets separated. When you reach the temperature to a 25 degrees Celsius, so 2 gram of that sugar gets settled down here. Okay. So at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius, so that 2 gram is dissolves in that solvent. So that we call it as saturated solutions. Okay. So these are the types of solutions based on the solubility of that solute in the solvent. Like dilute solutions, concentrated, saturated, and supersaturated solutions. Next, students, next one is the types of solutions. Just we studied the dilute. What do you mean by dilute solution, concentrated solution, saturated, and supersaturated solutions? Now, the type of a solutions. Which type of a solution is formed? Thank you. If there are two components, okay, one is solute and another one is a solvent, and what is the final uh, solution? So what the solution that is formed, so that solution is a solid solutions, liquid solution, or a gaseous solution. Okay. Now students, here the type of that solution, mainly it depends on the type of the solvent, because solvent is the one which retains its identity in the solution. Okay. So we also classify that solution based on the type of the solvent present in that. For example, in binary solutions, if the solute is a solid and the solvent is also in a solid. Okay, so first let me go with a simple. There is a solid and solvent is in a gas. So this is the solute and this one is the solvent, which gives a solution. Huh? If solute is in a solid and solvent is in a gas, then the solution formed, that solution we call it in a gas solution. Similarly, if solute is a liquid, what I am writing it like you, liquid, solvent is in a gas, it also gives gas solution. Necessarily, if solute is also gas, solvent is also in a gas, then it also forms gas solution. Yes, yes. The type of that solution formed, it mainly depends on the type of the solvent we are using. Okay, if the solvent here is in gas, so I am keeping the solvent common as in a gas and changing the solute. Solid in it is dissolved in gas, it gives gas solution, liquid in gas, it also gives gas solution, gas in gas, it also gives gas solutions. Okay, so to explain this, let me go with a few examples. For example, let me with this one, gas solution. Okay, it is a mixture of two gaseous solutions. Best example is in atmosphere. So air, it contains mixture of many gases. For example, in air it contains carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen. Okay, it is a homogeneous mixture of the components. Okay, so where different gases combine to form a gaseous solutions. Okay, so air is the best example for this gas type of a solution. And next is the liquid in gas. Okay, so here solute is in liquid, but the solvent is in a gas. So best example is our moist air. So that means some of the water molecules, uh, they are present in atmospheres, so they are present in air. Okay, so here the some water molecules, the physical state of that water is in a liquid. Okay, so and they are present in gas. Okay, we cannot find the water molecules in an air, but we feel the air as in a moist air. Okay. So here the that forms in a gaseous solution. Okay. So we write the water in air or humid air, got that is also in a gaseous solution, or just because in a humid air. Okay. It also forms the gaseous solutions. Okay, and another one is solid in gas. Okay, the best example is dusty air. Okay, so dusty air is the best example for solid in gas. Okay, that means the dust particles which are present in air, because we cannot uh, clearly find the dust particles, but the dust particles, they are present in the air, which forms a gaseous solutions. Okay, so dust particles in air. Okay. So that is an example for solid in gas. Okay. So these are the types of the gaseous solutions. Okay. Similarly, students, if I say about the liquid solutions, so where the solvent is in a liquid, okay, and solute may be solid, or it may be liquid, or it may be in a gas. Okay. So here solid is dissolved in liquid, it forms liquid solution. Similarly, the liquid in liquid also forms liquid solution. Gas in liquid, it also forms liquid solutions. Okay, all these forms liquid solutions. When solid dissolved in liquid, it also forms liquid solution, or the type of that solution formed, that we call it the liquid solution, because the type of liquid, type of solution, it mainly depends on the state of that solvent. So if solvent is in liquid state, then we call it the liquid solution. Okay. So now just the example for this is solid in liquid. Okay, solid in liquid, we know sugar solution, it is a sugar plus water. Okay, sugar is solid, it dissolves in water and forms sugar solution. So that gives a liquid solution. That is a type of solid in liquid. Okay, and since the second one, liquid in liquid. Okay, where the solute as well as the solvent both are in liquid. For example, add water in milk or milk in water. Okay, so where it forms a liquid solution. Okay, or alcohol in water. Okay, it also forms in a liquid solutions, where alcohol is also in liquid state, water is also in liquid state, and finally they form liquid solutions. Okay, and next, gas in water, sorry, gas in liquid. Okay, so the best example is dissolved oxygen. Okay, so dissolved oxygen in water. Okay, so where oxygen is in gaseous state, we know the physical state of oxygen is in gaseous state, it is dissolved in water and forms a liquid solution, or dissolved carbon dioxide in water. Okay, best example is your soft drinks. Okay, so you know soft drinks where the carbon dioxide is dissolved in water. Okay, so the carbon dioxide is gaseous state and water is in liquid state, but finally they form a liquid solution. So here I write the oxygen in water, water in water, or other gases dissolved in water, and or soft drinks. Soft drinks is also the best example for gas and liquid type of solutions. Now, students, let me go with another one type of solution. So, let me clean this from the board. Let me repeat again: solid in gas forms solid, so sorry, gas solution, liquid in gas, and gas in gas. All these forms gas solution. For solid in gas, best example is dusty air. Liquid in gas, example is the humid air or water molecules present in air, and gas in gas is an air itself is an example where the different gases combined. There is a oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen. It's a mixture of many gases. Right? So that forms in a gaseous solution. And in liquid solutions, solid in liquid forms liquid solution, or liquid in liquid also forms liquid solution. Gas in liquid also forms liquid solution. Example for solid in liquid is sugar in water. Sugar is solid, water is liquid. Example for liquid in liquid solution, milk plus water or alcohol in water, okay, where solute as well as solvent both are in liquid state. Gas in liquid solution, the best example is dissolved oxygen in water, or the dissolved gases, other gases in water which forms a liquid solution, or the soft drinks. In soft drinks, carbon dioxide is dissolved in water, which there is an example for gas in liquid. Okay. Next, friends, let me go with another one type. There is solid in solids. It is about solid solutions. Solid in solid, liquid in solid, and gas in solid. Like, all these forms a solid solutions. Solid in solid forms solid solution. Gas in solid also forms solid solution. Liquid in solid also forms solid solution. Now, so example for this solid in solid, okay, where the solute as well as the solvent both are in solid state. Best example is your alloys, where alloys is a mixture of different solid metals, solid components, so different metals. So it also forms solid solutions. Or while preparing jewelries, so in gold they add some copper. Okay, where copper is also solid, gold is also a solid. Right? So copper in gold. So it also forms a solid solution. And next is the second one, liquid in solid. Okay, where the solute is in liquid state and solvent is solid. So best example is the amalgam found, amalgam mercury. Okay, for example, mercury with sodium, which forms sodium amalgam, or mercury with aluminium, it forms amalgam, aluminum amalgam. Okay, so where mercury is in liquid state, sodium is a solid. Okay, liquid dissolves in that solid and forms a amalgam which is called solid solution. Okay, so this is a aluminum amalgam where mercury dissolves in aluminium. Okay, like that. Mercury, it almost dissolves in all the solids except iron. Okay, except iron, mercury forms its amalgam with almost all the metals. Okay. And next is the another one is the gas in solid. Okay. So where the solute is in a gas and solvent is a solid. Okay. Example is the hydrogen gas in palladium or platinum. Okay. When hydrogen gas is passed over a palladium or on a platinum, so palladium or platinum, it absorbs the hydrogen gas. Okay. So which forms a solid solution. So this is in gaseous state and this is in solid. Okay. Hydrogen is absorbed over a palladium, so which forms a solid solutions. There is a gas dissolves in solid. So this is the another one type of the solution. It is the solid solutions. Okay, like that we classify the types of solutions as gas solutions, liquid solutions, and the solid solutions. Now, students, the next one is so. uh, so let me just write on these examples. Okay, students, the next concept in solution is the methods of expressing the concentration of the solutions. So, in simply let me write the concentration of solutions or units of the concentration of solutions. Since just we learned the dilute solutions, concentrated solutions, and the saturated and supersaturated solutions. So for that, I taken one example to differentiate a concentrated solution and a dilute solution. Like, example is when I dissolve a 1 gram of sugar in a 50 ml of water or 50 gram of any water. Okay, here is also 50 grams of water. 1 gram of this sugar is dissolved in 50 gram of water. It forms a dilute solution. Okay. Instead of 1 gram, if I dissolve 20 gram of that solute into water, so whatever the solution is formed, so that solution I call concentrated. Okay. So to differentiate this dilute and concentrated, I have taken this example. Okay. Dilute and the concentrated solution. Now let me take few more beakers. Okay, 3 beakers. So here is also, it also contains 50 gram of water. This also contains 50. This also contains 50 gram. Water is same. So here I am dissolving 5 gram of sugar. Here I am dissolving 10 gram of sugar. And here I am dissolving 15 gram of sugar. Now, what we call this? These types of solutions. If solute is present in very lesser quantities, then we call that as a dilute. Okay. If solute is present in larger quantities, then we call that as a concentrated. Okay. Little bit. If the solute is present in between that, okay. So here the 5 grams, 10 grams, and 15 grams they come in between 1 to 20. Okay. So then these solutions are named as, so what we call these solutions. Okay. So whether these are the dilute solutions or concentrated. These are not the concentrated, because when 20 grams is dissolved in water, then we call that as a concentrated solution. These are not the dilute solutions, because when 1 gram is dissolved, okay, then only we call it as a dilute solutions. If the quantity of that sugar is more, then we cannot call this as a dilute. Okay, and we cannot call this as a concentrated also, because it is not, the solute is not that much what we already defined, that is in concentrated. So if it is 20 grams, then we call that as a concentrated. It is not in a concentrated, it is not in a diluted, it is in between that. Then what we call that type of solutions. Okay, so to measure the strength of these solutions or to express the concentration of these solutions, we are using the different units. Okay. In different units, we express the concentration or the strength of the solutions. Okay. Or we say that in different units, we measure the concentration of the solutions. Those are, let me write, the first one is the mass percentage. The one unit in which the concentration of solution is expressed. Then second one is the volume percentage. Third one is mass by volume percentage. Fourth one is ppm. Okay. So ppm is, it is in a parts per million. Okay. So ppm is another one unit in which the concentration is expressed. Okay. And next is molarity. Molality, normality, mole fraction. So these are the another 4 units in which the concentration of solution is measured. Molarity, molality, normality, and mole fraction. So these are the basic. Uh, there is another one is these are the first four: mass percentage, volume percentage, mass by volume percentage, and ppm. Mass percentage is written as W by W. Volume percentage, symbolically we read that as an a V by V. Mass by volume percentage is W by V. ppm we express as it is ppm. Okay. Molality, it is symbolically, molarity symbolically it is represented with the letter capital M. Molality as small m. For normality is the capital M. And for mole fraction we use x of any component A or B. X, just simply we use x. Hmm. X as in a mole fraction. So these are the 7 units in which the concentration of the solution is measured. Instance here, uh, for the syllabus, all these units are there, but we concentrate more on the mass percentage. Okay, so there's few numericals which have been asked in exams on mass percentage. Okay, so these are also the ppm, volume, and mass by volume. Okay, so ppm is also an important. And next, these are the units which are very important. There is the molarity. Repeatedly, we are using this molarity. Molality is also very important. Okay. So, molality is small m, and normality we rarely use that, but it is also an important normality. And mole fraction is also a very important. Okay, so here molarity, mole fraction, and molality, these are the very important units. Okay. And in this, mass percentage is an important. Okay. Now, let me study in detail about these units. Okay. How to express the concentration in mass percentage. What is the formula? How to calculate the mass percentage of any solution. Okay. Let me go with that. So first unit is mass percentage. Here students, the percentage means we are expressing the concentration of solution in terms of percentage. Okay. For example, 1%, 2%, 3% like that. Okay. So mass percentage, the we write the formula as mass percentage is equals to is mass of solute by mass of solution into 100. Okay. When you divide mass of a solute divided by mass of solute by mass of solution, it is multiplied with 100, it gives the percentage of that solute present in the solution. For example, when I dissolve 1 gram of sugar in a water, and I will make that total volume of that solution to an a 100, then the percentage of that solution is equals to 1%. It is in a 1% sugar solution. Example is when 1 gram of sugar is dissolved in water and forms solution. Solution is of 100 ml. Okay. The total solution formed is 100 ml. Or the total mass of that solution is 100 grams. Then, what is the percentage of that solution? Simply, mass of solute is 1, is in 1 divided by the mass of solution. The total mass of that formed solution is 100 into 100, so that equals to 1. So, it is in a 1% of solution. Okay, like that we express the concentration of that solution in mass percentage. Okay, just now I have taken few examples, that is the 5 grams, 10 grams, and 15 grams. Okay. So 5 grams dissolved in water, 10 grams also dissolved in water, and 15 gram is also dissolved in water. Then the total volume of, total mass of that final solution is 100 grams here. The mass of this is also 100 grams. So mass of that solution is also 100 grams. Then the concentration of this first solution is in a 5% solution, is in a 10% solution, and another one is a 15% solution. Okay, like that we can differentiate the solutions as 5% solution, 10% solution, 15% solution, like that by using this mass percentage unit. And students, here simply keep in your mind that mass percentage is mass of a solute. Mass is expressed in either in grams or kg. Mass of solution, not solvent, mass of a solution into 100. Now similarly, the volume percentage, second one. See, volume percentage means, so here the volume, which is the unit which is used to measure uh, for liquids, because this is the unit in which the liquids are measured. So for example 10 ml of water, okay, like that. So volume percentage is defined as, it is a ratio of volume of solute to the volume of solution into 100, that gives volume percentage. For example, 5 ml of a alcohol is dissolved in 95 ml of water, then the total volume of that solution is equals to 100. Okay, then the percentage of that solution is in a 5% solution. This example is when 5 grams of 5 ml of our alcohol or ethanol, it is dissolved in 95 ml of water, it gives a solution of 100 ml. Then what is the concentration of that solution? The concentration of solution is expressed in volume percentage. Okay, because solute and solvent both are measured in milliliter. Okay, so volume of the solute is also given, volume of solvent is also given. Then so substitute in this formula, volume of solute is 5. So here I am writing that 5 divided by volume of water is in a solvent. This is the solvent. Okay. So in denominator they have mentioned volume of solution. So volume of solution is 100, is in 100 into 100. So 100 cancels, so that gives 5. So it is in a 5% of ethanoic solution. So like that the volume percentage we calculate using this formula. And another one stands the mass by volume percentage, that is the third unit. Mass by volume percentage, that simply we write mass by volume percentage. So here the formula we use that as mass of a solute to the volume of solution. Okay. So in mass percentage, mass of a solute is dissolved in a solvent, the total volume of solution. If you divide that mass of solute by volume of solution and multiply that by 100, you will get the concentration of that solution in terms of mass by volume percentage. Okay, for example, let me take the the sugar solution. So if I dissolve 5 gram of sugar in 95 ml of water, then the total solution formed is then a sugar solution is in 100 ml of the solution. Then substitute in this formula, mass of a sugar is 5 divided by volume of a solution, not 95, because the total volume formed here is 100. Okay, 95 plus 5. So total volume of that solution is 100 into 100, that gives 5. So 5% is, so that is the mass by volume percentage. 5%, or it is also written as W by V. Okay, so W by V is 5% of W by V. Like that, we express the concentration of solutions in terms of mass by volume. And students, let me go with another one. That is the ppm, that is the parts per million. Parts per million is the formula we use to express this concentration in ppm is mass of solute by mass of solvent into 10 raised to 6. So mass of solute by mass of solvent into 10 raised to 6. Next is the ppm. ppm, the formula we use here is mass of a solute by mass of solution into 10 raised to 6. Mass of a solute divided by mass of solution into 10 raised to 6. See, this formula, it looks exactly like a mass percentage. In mass percentage also we use the same formula, the mass of solute by mass of solution. In ppm also we are using mass of a solute by mass of solution. Okay, so in mass percentage we multiplied that by 100, because we are expressing the concentration in terms of percentage. So that's why we multiply that by 100. So here it is expressed in ppm, that is the parts per million. So the formula we are using is the same, but it is multiplied with 10 raised to 6. Now says, why we need this formula? So we are already having in a mass percentage, the percentage is the formula is same, but we are using the ppm. So ppm term or the ppm unit is used for the solutions where the quantity of the solute is very less compared to the solvent. For example, the percentage of the carbon dioxide uh, in our city. Okay, so in our city, the percentage of carbon dioxide, we want to calculate the percentage of carbon dioxide in complete our city. So then we express the concentration of that solution in terms of ppm. Okay, or the dissolved oxygen in a bottle. Okay, so if I want to calculate the percentage of dissolved oxygen in lake, okay, so then we express that concentration in terms of ppm. Or simply, for example, if I dissolve 0.001 gram of sugar, okay, just a small quantity of that sugar in say 10,000 liters or 1000 liters, 1000 liters of water. Okay. So in 1000 liters of water, if I dissolve only 0.001 gram of any sugar, okay, so it is also false, isn't it? One type of any solution, that is in a sugar solution. Then then the concentration of this solution is expressed in terms of ppm. Okay. So there is another one unit which is used to measure the concentration of solutions. And students, the next another 4 units, that is the molarity, normality, molality and mass percentage. Okay. So in detail about those units we'll discuss in next class uh, by solving one or two numericals on these units. That is, it will solve 2 to 3 numericals on mass percentage and ppm. Then I'll go with a molarity and normality and mole fraction, because they are very important. So in next class uh, we discuss about in detail about those, and also we saw some numericals on molarity, normality and mole fraction in our next class. Okay. Thank you, students.